Sure, hun. We do that all the time.
Happy birthday from all of us to you. We wish it was their birthday so we could party too. It's your birthday? Hello, my fellow chatterers and book lovers, and anyone else who's popped in because you're curious or you've got a bit lost. Welcome, everyone. And yes, if you are very confused, you are obviously one of those people who have not seen The Emperor's New Groove. Everyone else, I hope you understood and appreciated the reference. If you've not seen The Emperor's New Groove, highly recommend. Great film. Anyway, it's my Booktube birthday, so I thought I would do the Booktube birthday tag on my actual Booktube birthday, which was not what I was planning to do today. I've got another couple of videos I'm hoping to film, but we'll see if I get around to doing them. But I was like, why don't I just do it now, or I'll never do it. So as I was walking home from the school run, I started thinking about the Booktube birthday tag, and for some reason I wanted to do that song because it's fun. So there you go. If you're very confused, that's possibly the vibe of my channel, I think, just generally being quite confused. But anyway, cheers everybody. It is one shot, there is no editing. Yes, the pause button played havoc with the sketch, but hey ho, we are going to carry on anyway. Cheers, 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 cheers. Hope you all have an actual beverage instead of a tiny gimmick of one. For those of you who are new here, I do not edit my videos. I just do one long take and then post it. Because that way you get content, otherwise you wouldn't see it for years. Also, my laptop is ancient and decrepit. So I'm just going to go straight into the tag. I don't think there was anything else I was going to say. If there is, maybe I'll remember. Here we go, I have my tag of tea. It looks a bit different because I'm being lazy. I don't have all the questions written on tags, which is what I usually do in a tag video. But like I said, I'm just trying to do that as quickly as possible so that it gets done. So we're going with lazy booktubing today from my aesthetic. So this the tag was created by Joe from Average Joe Reads. And I have to say, congratulations, Joe, because I watched the video. And one of the things that he wanted for this tag was it to become a booktube staple that people would do every year. Applause for Joe. I think he has achieved that. Because you see this around and people will continue to do it year after year. As I've already said, for my Booktube birthday, actually no, we'll wait, mentally edit that bit, we're not talking about that. Okay, so that's Joe. Well done, created a great tag, fun times. I was kindly tagged in this by Tatiana from the wonderful Reading with Tatiana. She is someone who does really thoughtful reviews. I love how she does it. She has like a little routine that she kind of goes through. But what I really like is that she gives you information on the author before she starts talking about the book. So like she does her research into the author, into kind of like where they were coming from when they were writing the book. I don't know, I have to say, I do not know if she does this with all the reviews because I have not seen everything Tatiana has put up because there's not enough hours in the day. More on that later. But that's going to be the catchphrase of this tag, I feel. It's just going to be more on that later. But the ones I have seen of hers, she does follow this formula and I love it. I feel very safe in her reviews. I feel that I'm going to get some really interesting thoughts from her and I just find them brilliant. So if for some reason you have not discovered Tatiana on Reading with Tatiana, as always, when I talk about people on this channel, I will always link them in the description box. So please give it a read. It's there for further information. Just click the down bit, have a little look. You will find links to the booktubers I mentioned. You will find links to the books I mentioned. I link everything to Storygraph. So recommend finding a bit more info. And we've already gone off on tangents. Where was I? Okay, cool, first question. So Tatiana tagged me. Thank you, Tatiana. And I'm actually doing it on my Booktube birthday, which makes me feel very happy. So she started hers because I've also looked at a few other ones of these. I always kind of like to get a feel of the tag before I go in. So I like to kind of watch a few people's tags. I always try and watch the original creations tag as well before I go in. Tatiana had sort of like a little pre-question to the official tag 8 questions. 9 is the tag other people. And that was kind of like reflecting on your year and how it's kind of like changed and how many subs you had. So I'm going to kind of combine this with the first question. So the first question is, how many years on Booktube are you celebrating? Number 1. This is my first year on Booktube, and I have completed a whole year on Booktube, which is really, really exciting. So this is probably the first and only time I will mention my subs because I'm not sure that I'll do that next year. So obviously I started off with 0 subs, so it feels great to now have 266. This feels wonderful. Just gonna mention, there were 269, but 3 of you decided you were going to leave. I don't know why. I'm not going to reflect on my behaviour to see if it was me. But what I am going to say is that we're going for quality rather than quantity. So if you're on here, thank you for being quality. I appreciate you. You are my quality. Anyway, down with the numbers game. So yeah, it's my first year. So I feel really thrilled to have actually done it. I feel thrilled to have actually gone, I'm going to do Booktube. And did. And stuck with it for a whole year and feel happy about it. I think that's an achievement. So yay for me. Number 2. This feels weird doing it this way. It's like, let's just start pulling the book out. Tag number 2. Feels weird to just be reading off a list. Okay, tag number 2 is, what has kept you motivated to continue your videos? So this comes in 2 parts for me. The first part is why I started doing them in the first place. It's my creative outlet. Funnily enough, if you couldn't tell, I like to talk. I like to chat. Chatty by name, chatty by nature. So I had all of these thoughts and feelings about all the books I was reading and I had nowhere to go to like just splurge and give everyone my opinions. So Booktube really helped with that. And, you know, to start off with, it was nice. I would be commenting and be chatting in the comments, but it wasn't enough. I wanted to film and share. So pre-Booktube, I started doing that by myself and sharing on a little Facebook group. It was just like a private group of people that I knew that may or may not enjoy reading. And I started doing it on there. But I kind of went from reading 4 books a month and then to like 8 to 10. And my wrap-ups were like getting bigger and bigger and I was struggling with the editing. So I think I did like 3 months of sharing with people and like actually editing videos. And then the other rest of the year, 9 months, thank you mental maths, I just filmed and didn't do anything with them. So all over my Google photos, there's a load of footage that is never going to see the light of day. Unless you want me to do like a random from the vault baby booktuber stuff, I could just randomly do a little short of like random clips of like, ha, look what I was doing. But no, it's never going to see the light of day. But I don't feel bad about that. I feel that I got so much enjoyment from doing it. So it was kind of like a little, you absolutely don't have to do this, but it felt like a little like trial run. Like I was doing like a practice booktubing before I officially booktube. And I felt like I just had this desire to keep going. I had this desire to keep filming and keep sharing it. It felt so therapeutic. Come on, mouth, work, make the words. It felt so therapeutic to do, and it's given me so much joy. And then now to be actually then doing it with all of you, and I've been making thumbnails. I love making a thumbnail. Because I don't edit and kind of get to be creative in that way, it's like all of my energy then goes into the thumbnail. And I've kind of got into like a little system and a routine. I kind of like to theme it in with I have a bit of an Alice in Wonderland vibe, if you can tell, with the teacups and the name of the mad chatter. And I kind of like to play on that, so I have a bit of an Alice in Wonderland theme with it all, which is fun. So I kind of like to do that a little bit. I like to play with colours. I like to try and make things as easily accessible for people viewing. And also for myself, I kind of like to catalogue things. So any kind of like videos where I'm wrapping up, I have a similar kind of thumbnail. And the months I kind of try and keep with a similar thing, and kind of like playlists and series of videos, I try and keep those similar colours and visuals. To kind of help people. I like to put everything into a playlist. That gives me a lot of joy to organise where it all goes. It makes me feel happy. I've gone off on a tangent what was the question? Why am I motivated to keep going? Okay, so that's part 1, my creative outlet. Part 2 is it's the classic question, but it's so true. It is the community. I felt involved in the kind of more fantasy community on Discord, and there were certain channels that I would be watching a lot and commentating on a lot. And I kind of pre-coming onto Booktube made friends with people and was chatting to them a lot on there and in Discord. So I kind of have like some like Discord buddies within that before I came on to Booktube. And I enjoyed all of that, and everyone was really supportive when I first started, because I said I was going to start, and then people came and commented on that first video, and that was really lovely, and shared some of their tips, which was marvellous. So the shelf space community and on Gregory LePerch's channel, lots of the booktubers on there were very supportive, and also the people that weren't booktubers but were just people who chatted in Discord and also commented and were part of like read-alongs and all of that were just so supportive. So I really appreciated all of that. But then actually coming on to Booktube, I found other parts of Booktube that I'd never experienced before and never knew about before. And sorry, legs going dead, I'm sat on the floor, so I have to kind of sometimes uncross my legs because they kind of go dead after a while. So yeah, wiggly wiggles. This is a long and involved story. Big thank you to MJ from Reading This Life, who I think is kind of renowned for being someone who supports small booktubers, and that has become kind of looks like a philosophy, a group. She does live shows about supporting small booktube and just kind of encouraging content makers to keep going with things, promoting people to find them, because when you're small you can just be in teeny tiny pockets like all over the booktube verse world, and you might really love their channel, but you don't, because they're small, you don't find them. So it's wonderful that she highlights people so you can then go and check out these other booktubers and things. So it's brilliant. So from talking to kind of people on there and being in her Discord, I started to make more booktube friends. And when you go on Booktube, everyone loves a Booktube Newbie tag, and everyone is really, really welcoming when you do a Booktube Newbie tag. So if you are, this is going to veer into what keeps me motivated / tips for Booktube. If you are wanting to start a channel, go for it. Absolutely go for it. It's so much fun. There's no hard and fast rules. You don't have to do it any way apart from the way you want to do it. It really doesn't matter. But if you think it's going to bring you joy, get in there. It really does. But I think one of the things to do to keep you motivated is you can't just, well, you can, but I don't think you get as much from it. You can like sit back and just be like, here's my videos, here's my content, and I'll reply to your little comments, but we'll just kind of leave it there. But if people comment on you and then you click on them and see them and comment on their videos, you start to kind of have this back and forth conversation and you start to make friends with people. And that is how friendships form on Booktube, in the Booktube community. So all of that I didn't know about because I hadn't done it before. So I started to make friends with people from this. I think especially you can't start to get a feel of who's just started around the same time as you. And actually, Tatiana, that was something else I did want to say, but I'll come back to that. So going back to Tatiana, one of the things she mentioned in her video of the Booktube birthday tag, which will be linked, please check it out, is this you kind of have this idea of like the class of 2022. I feel very much part of that. And she mentioned a few people that we were all supporting each other in the early days. We continue to kind of chat to each other as well now, and it just feels really lovely. And I do think you really start to build up friendships with the people who are kind of going through the same thing you are at the same time you are, and it's just really nice. It's just really lovely. And that was the other thing I wanted to mention about Tatiana. So when Tatiana did her Booktube birthday tag, she also did it in a one shot, which was very exciting. So yeah, I thought she did a brilliant job. So anyone else who, if you are fancying doing the one shot, I mean, I don't own it, but she did mention me when she did that. I recommend. It's quite liberating. She did mention you have to have a drink with you because your voice goes after a while. And despite me doing this a lot, that's a rookie mistake. I don't actually have a beverage with me today. I'm surrounded by nothing. So let's hope the voice kind of keeps going. again, tangent, class of 2022. So finding all these people and chatting to them whilst you like first start out on Booktube is brilliant. Another thing I recommend doing for starting out on Booktube is when you know the kind of booktubers you enjoy watching their content from, and kind of the vibe they give off and the feeling they kind of provide on their channel, quite a lot of them, not all of them, will have a Discord. I recommend, if you aren't already involved in Discord, getting into Discord. It is basically chat rooms based on books. I do have a video that kind of looks into it more deeply. There are probably better ones out there, but if you want more information about Discord, I will link that there. It's about my one, which is a middle grade focused one. So it kind of goes through like what it is and how you chat on it, but basically it's chat rooms for book related stuff. There's various different Discords for other themes. I think it started out as gamers, but it's quite big in Booktube. Sometimes there'll be like special ones for readathons or read-alongs, and it's just like a nice place to kind of like put the chat in and be able to like keep going back and forth to it, and I really enjoy it. So like that has helped to consolidate friendships and expand friendships and improve friendships, and it's lovely. So what motivates me to keep going? I have FOMO. if I don't keep going, I feel like I'm missing out on stuff. So I want to be involved in all of the readathons and the read-alongs and be sharing that stuff with you and making other links with people and talking to them about the books we're reading and promoting books and raving about books. And it's just quite addictive, actually, in the best way. But also the motivation as well is all of you guys. So if you're watching this and you're still here this amount of time into the video and I haven't put you off with my waffling, thank you so much. If you like it, even better. If you get a little like, it does boost you. It really does. You're like, awesome, people like my stuff. It's a nice feeling. And if you then decide you're gonna comment, this is wonderful. We'll go back to that in a moment. Ta-da. I love it. I love people commenting on my stuff and engaging with me and communicating with me, because if you didn't know, I do like a chat. I did say I'll go back to it later. I will go back to it later. And the final one, and subscribing. Yes. So if you like the vibe, please subscribe. That also feels good as well, because you feel that people want to continually engage with the stuff that you are doing, so that it does motivate you to kind of keep on top of things and keep putting out your content. And I think with everything, you always kind of have to get that fine balance between wanting to put stuff out and be part of stuff and enjoying yourself, but also balancing realistic stuff, because you have your Booktube life and you have your real world life. And as much as I could completely leave the real world and just go into Booktube, with a few exceptions, and just focus all on that, it's not, you can't. I have to keep telling myself, do you know what, you have a job. Remember, you probably could do with a good night's sleep so you can actually function the next day. Maybe stop reading, stop talking, and do that. Also, you know, have a family. I've got small people that need to be dragged out of bed in the morning. They're not teenagers, but for some reason they still need to be dragged out of bed. I don't quite know what's going on with them. Or they wake up early in the morning on a weekend and demand you watch something with them on the television. It's like, why don't you go and watch TV? No, mummy, I want you to watch with me, which is beautiful but also exhausting. So it's remembering all these things I have, and you know, just the general day-to-day stuff, like I probably should go out into the real world and remember to buy in food, cook some food, wash all the pants so we have things to wear. US audience, I am talking underpants with that statement thing. So yeah, balancing between Booktube life and real life, I think is important, and that's something I need to kind of like pull myself back from and go, just chill with stuff. But that is what motivates me. There we go. Tag done. Question 3. What are 3 of your favourite videos made in the past year and why? Oh, I kind of answered this a little bit in my end of year freakout tag, which I did recently, so I'll link that there. So I'm going to mention ones that I don't think I mentioned on there. So one of the ones that I am really, really proud of because it was insane to film, but I've been wanting to film it for a long time. And that was The Chatties, which was my the best things I'd read this year. So I got to be really silly. I got to like host a book awards ceremony, interview some books. They had a lot to say. And I just got to talk about my favourite books, just on and on and on, and I love doing that and kind of highlight why they're my favourites and kind of look at what it is about books that I really like, what draws me to books. So having things where I focused on like the plot of the book, or focusing on like my favourite character, like doing all of that. That was such a fun video to do, and thank you everyone for who commented on that and enjoyed it and appreciated it. I'd still do it anyway, even if people didn't, but it would be a little bit like, oh, what's the point? No one's interested. So to have people saying, that was amazing, I really loved it, this is really funny, this is great, it does boost you and makes you want to do it. And then having people talking about the books that you've highlighted, like, oh, I've not read that one, I really want to, or I didn't enjoy that one, I thought this. It's great. It's so much fun to do all of that. Second video is one that I've posted recently. I actually filmed this in October, but I wanted to wait until March to share it with you all, and that is talking about my childhood favourite books with my mum, who I give a book name to. I call her Natta because we're like chatty and Natta, because we both like to talk. I get it from her. And if you have seen part 1 of the Early Nerd books of my childhood tag that I did with my mum, I've put questions 1 to 5. I knew as we were doing it that we were going to split it into 2 parts because otherwise it would be too crazy. That was absolutely so much fun to film. So much fun to film. And I enjoyed watching it back because just hearing me and my mum talking, it just... I live quite far away from my mum. We're not massively so. We're in the same country, but it takes 4 hours either by car or train to get to her. So it's really nice kind of like having been able to have done that with her, because also I got my love of reading for both my parents, but mainly mum. She's definitely the one that took the time to like really take us to the library and like find books for us and suggest books and go crazy over books with us. So yeah, really appreciate you, mum. Thanks. So that was really so much fun to do, and it's hilarious and chaotic. The one thing I would change was maybe getting someone to take the children out for the day so we could do it in the daytime, because we waited until they'd gone to bed and then we were doing it quite into the early hours of the morning, which was perhaps not healthy, but we had a great time doing it. And my third favourite video that I did, it's there's a few other bits and think pieces that I enjoy doing. I might talk about those later. So I'm going to go for, I really had a great time doing a live show with Courtney from Tangible Reads where we spoke about Binti. It was so much fun. I feel like we could have gone on. It was quite hard to stop talking actually, because Courtney is a great girl for talking too. So it was really good fun to be able to do that. And to no effort to myself. Like, she did it all. She set it up. She organised it. She was in charge of the chat. I just had to click a button and join her to talk. So thank you, Courtney, for doing all the hard work. And I really enjoyed being part of that. That was great fun. So I can't do on this channel, because of my decrepit laptop, I can manage a live on the Ancient laptop where I can see comments and talk to you about them, but I can't post them up, and I can't add other people to join me in the live discussion. I have tried and it didn't work. So I would love to do more collab stuff, but I physically can't do it because I don't have the technology. But if you would like to invite me onto your channel to chat, I mean, you know, you are welcome to mute me. I would definitely enjoy doing more of that. Tag number 4 is, what have you struggled with on Booktube in the past and how did you overcome that struggle? Sorry, my little bookmark was in the way, I couldn't see. So what I've struggled with, the big one, those actually a blessing in disguise, was editing. I was quite surprised by how much I talked, despite me having kind of secretly done it for a year. I do talk a lot. So having to edit myself, I got really annoyed with myself. I was like, why are you still talking? Why? And to start off with, when you know you can edit, you'll just stop talking randomly and then like redo it, or you'll think, oh, I can take that out later. That having to like capture the bit you still wanted in, but not let it lead into the other one, that's pretty hard. It's pretty tough. trying to do it and squidge it all together and make it look halfway decent is quite tricky, and it took a lot of time. And I decided I wanted to do this thing where I like showed you different books at different points and like had lots of different captions, and I really enjoyed the editing bit, but it took a really long time to do. So luckily my laptop went, you know what, you can't edit anymore, and like stopped. It's from 1997, my laptop. I don't know how it's still going. No, it's not from 97, that's ridiculous. No, it has Windows 90. No, it can't be Windows 97. 2007, not 97. What am I doing? It's from 2007, my laptop. Still surprised it's still going. And the editing program I used was just Windows Movie Maker. I loved that editing program. I thought it was great. It was really easy to use, did what I wanted it to do. It doesn't exist in that format anymore. It's crap. The current Windows editing program, rubbish, absolute rubbish. They probably thought because so many people like have proper ones now, they're just not going to bother anymore. So I couldn't edit. I did one video and then it just wouldn't publish. It was just like, no, too old, can't cope. So I was scuppered for a bit. I was like, what do I do? I just started. It been maybe like a month or two, and then that happened, and I was like, oh, I was really enjoying it. It was great. So then it gave birth to the one-shots, because I could still upload. I just had to do it all in one take. So I changed how I did it, and actually it has been a blessing in disguise, because having taken editing out of the equation of video making means that it's so much easier for me to post content. It still takes me a long time, because it takes, on the 2007 laptop, to download what I've made from Google Photos. Yes, that's what it is, Google's Photos. To download it onto my hard drive and then upload it onto YouTube, it takes like an hour or 40 minutes to do that. And then you have to keep squiggling the mouse across to like remind it it's still alive and you still want it to work, because otherwise sometimes it could just be like failed download. And then you have to upload it onto YouTube, and then that can take an hour as well. So I imagine with ones that are not so old, it doesn't take that long to do it. So yeah, that does take a bit of time. Like I said, I enjoy editing the thumbnail, so I put a lot of effort into that. So that can take a bit of time to make sure I've got the thumbnail that I want in the way I want it. And also I like to make sure that if I name a person in my video who is a booktuber, I like to make sure I reference them. If I name a readathon, I like to make sure I reference that. I like to make sure I like to put links in. I like to put a Storygraph link for every book that I mention in it. So I like to make sure that all those are in place. I like to put timestamps because my videos are so long. It just helps you to navigate them. If there are books you're interested in or books you're not, I'm trying to make it easier for people to view and find. So that takes a long time, because obviously to do the timestamps, I have to watch myself talking for hours and be like, okay, she's changed books, great. Because as soon as I'm on film, as soon as I see myself on the screen, it's no longer me. It's like a different version of me. So I'll use third person. She's not part of me. It's different. Right, okay, cool. Crazy person. That is me. I think I've done that. Yes, okay, so that was the old struggle. Current struggle is the life balance bit. That's what I find a bit difficult, because I have so many things I want to do. Like, I have lots of ideas. I have so many ideas. I've got this whole list of things. So I'm like, that would be really cool. I want to do that. I want to read that. I want to explore that. I want to do this, that, and the other. So I kind of have to rein myself back and be like, wait, let's just finish this bit off before we start dancing ahead into the sunlight of your next project. So I have to kind of prioritize which ones I want to do, which is one of the reasons tags take me a really long time. I love being tagged. I love doing tags, but it takes a while for me to kind of like, one, set it up, because I need to get all my books around me. I like doing this. I like having my tag of tea gimmick. So I write the tags out. And it takes a while to set up. Also, I like to think. Sometimes I like to think about the answers, because if I'm getting books, I can't like stop and edit, like I said. I want to be ready to go. And that's what I'm going to say. Yeah, so it sometimes takes me a while. I also like to make sure that I log who's tagged me and who I've tagged recently, so I'm sharing it about. So I'm not just like re-tagging people a lot, because I don't want to overload people with tags and be like, oh, flip it, she's tagged me again. But also I don't want to like miss people out. So it's nice to kind of be like, I've not tagged you for a while, I want to tag you, I think this would be a great one for you. So I like to like, I have a written paper, because I'm a paper notebook person most of the time. I've got a little log where I've written all the tags I've been tagged in, who tagged me, who I tagged in that video when I've done it, so I can kind of track it a bit better. So there will be more coming. It just takes me a while to get there. So I just take that pressure off myself. Like, and hopefully now, you know, it'll come eventually. It will come eventually. So yeah, balance. So yeah, I'm just trying to hold myself back. I'm trying to do it. I need to give myself a big talking to at the moment, because I made the thing, try and read less and just enjoy what you're doing a bit more and not racing through and trying to keep up. But I've got greedy and I'm just wanting to read all the books now, and I'm just trying to read. And now I've kind of neglected my story graph a bit for like my reviews, because you need a brain. I don't need so much brain power to read, I can just read. But if I need to stop and think about what I thought about a book and write it down, I need this brain here to be working a bit harder. So I've got a backlog of reviews I need to do. I don't need to do them, but I want to do them because I want the book to know I appreciate it, and I want to help other readers find things helpful should they want to pick that up. I hope that makes sense. Where were we going? Oh yeah, struggles. There you go. So yeah, work, struggle. The other part of that struggle, so I'm now coming back to it, I'd mentioned I parked it, I'm coming back to it, is 1, watching other booktubers' content, and 2, replying to my comments. This is the shameful bit. So I just want to apologise right here and now to anyone who has commented on my video or replied to a comment I put on their video, and then it's just been like a tumbleweed. Months of tumbleweed because I haven't responded. Some of you won't care, and that's fine. And you probably get it, and you're not taking it personally. But I feel bad, especially to people who have taken the time to comment on my video and I haven't responded. It is there on my radar. It is definitely there, and I want to do it. But I know myself. I know once I start commenting and replying, it's not going to be a little like, cheers, thanks, yeah, I loved it too. I talk a lot and I can't stop myself. So then I'm like, oh, I've got like 5 minutes to wait for this, you know, kettle to boil. I'll just reply to a comment. I don't know. The kettle will have boiled and gone cold again because I'm still replying. Or then I then reply to a different one. And I know it just takes over. So I need to kind of have like an allotted space of going, I'm going to sit down now. I'm going to reply to comments. Like, this is my chatting. I have to try and do this with Discord as well. And when I watch other people's videos, I like have to try and pull in, don't comment, you'll be here for years. And it's hard. So that's why. But please know that I absolutely appreciate it so much. Really, thank you so much for commenting, and it will happen. I will pencil in some time to sit down and respond to you, but I'm trying to be more organised and on time in general life. I'm a very late person. If you see all of the jokes about, you know, like late mothers at the school drop off and pick up, that's me. I'm the crazy one running along going, come on, walk faster, you're on a scooter, why am I faster than you? That would be me. So I'm trying not to be that person, because I don't want to be that person. I want to be that person that's really organised. I want to be the person with a file of facts who knows all the kids' birthdays and will say happy birthday in all the parent WhatsApp groups. That's who I want to be. That annoying mum. But I'm not that mum. I'm the crazy mum that doesn't know what's going on, sadly. So I'm trying to readdress that balance. That's why I'm not commenting. And it will happen. Right, we have waffled on for far too long, which has given me an excellent segue because I knew this would happen at some point. Not an excellent segue. I'm going to come back to that. So remember, I wanted to talk about waffle, and I'm going to talk about waffle later on. Okay, great. Tag 5. I feel I might need to mention that I'm in a bit of a weird place right now with my mental health. I feel I'm being a bit more than usual. I don't quite know where I am and kind of the highs and lows. I have manageable depression and anxiety that kind of peaks and troughs, and I don't know if I'm in a peak or a trough, but I'm not functioning at my usual. I'm a bit more manic. There we go. I'm more manic at the moment. And that's how it is. So there you go. That's why I'm being more weird than normal. It's fine. It's all manageable. I just need to go to bed, drink more. I don't know. Number 5. Choose one moment from the past year on Booktube you would love to relive. I don't really know if I can answer this question. It kind of melds into one. I don't know if it's like a filming reliving moment, a being part of the community and enjoying myself moment. I don't know. I just enjoy being on Booktube. I can't find a single moment that I'm wanting to relive, because I don't think I'd want to relive it. I think I enjoyed it at the time and I'm looking forward to more. Like I mentioned, like I really love being on Courtney's live. And previously I mentioned I really liked being on Derry's live. I want to do more. I don't want to relive those ones because I've done those ones. I probably could do a part 2. There'll be more, I would have to say, but I want to do, you know, I'd like to talk about different books with them. Doing that, yeah, it's not so much like I want to relive stuff. That I'm looking forward to doing more of the same or different things. That's a nice one. I didn't answer it that well, so it's short. Okay, we are now on to question 6, which is shout out a huge supporter of your channel. There are so many, and I appreciate you all so much. I've already kind of gone through it all, but thank you so much for watching, liking, commenting and subscribing. But there are some people that let me know a lot about how much they enjoy the content that I'm doing, and so I'm going to mention some of them. It's not exhaustive because, you know, we'll be here all day. It's already 36 minutes and I still have another few questions to go on this, so let's be kind to ourselves. So please know that if I've ever said I like your channel, if I've ever appeared in your comments and been commenting, if you've you know, had those kind of things with me, know that I absolutely appreciate your support and I thank you so much for it. But there are 2 booktubers that I want to mention, and then 2 viewers that I want to mention. So the first booktuber I want to talk about is Vadania Silverscribe. And I'd say she is definitely one of my best booktube friends. I recently had a chat with her and Tallia and Kelli. Tallia from Bandana Book Mum and Kelli from Kelli Reads a Lot. See, I can't just keep it to one. But we all said we did a really nice little chat together, which was really nice. And we all said it's really funny that we've mentioned to like our real life people that were like, oh, I'm gonna speak to my friends. So like, you met them on the internet. They're not your friends. You see them on a screen. You don't know who they are. We're like, yes, we do. We're friends. Okay, leave us alone. We're friends. So yes, we're friends. Oh my goodness, I need to pull back the manic. I'm sorry. Right, let's pretend to drink tea. Calm. Right, yes, so Vadania is my friend. Vadania is my friend, and I have just appreciated so much her enthusiasm. She is just the sweetest person and is so kind to people and so enthusiastic, not just to me, but for like what everyone across Booktube does. And you can see that in her comments and you can see that in her videos. And she always comments on my videos. And not only once, she comments lots of time, and she stays up to date with what I'm doing, and she talks about I think it's well because we have a very similar reading taste in that we really like magical, whimsical, middle grade and lots of magic-y stuff, and we like a pretty book, so all of that is delightful. I do apologize to her because I traumatized her with one of my recommendations. She read The Final Empire and things in there hurt her, so I feel like I have to be a bit careful. Like, she still enjoyed it a bit, but I think if you've read The Final Empire, you might understand what has traumatized her and why I need to be careful. But she has got Rainbow Grey. We've done the Cog-Along together. We are currently doing the Unmapped Chronicles together. It's just so much fun reading and chatting with her. And so she's like, she mentioned she'll just like show me a photograph of like, look what I've got now, and be like, well, where did you get that book from? I really need that in my life. So I just appreciate all of that support from her. It's just one of the things that just makes Booktube so special, to just be having these friendships and just sharing the joy of books and appreciating books and just having a wonderful time with books, which is why we're all here. The second booktuber that I want to mention is Mason from Mason in the Dark. So Mason does if you've ever had a comment from Mason, you will know what I'm going to say. We've now started to call them like his thought trains, but it's an essay. So Mason will give you an essay on, so I think what he does, I'm going to presume him, what you do is you are watching the video and you have a comment open as you're watching it and you just respond. It's like you're commenting. It's like he gives you his commentary thoughts on your video as he watches it. And it's brilliant. And it's one of those ones where you just feel like you're just sharing something with a friend, and it just feels wonderful. I also love it when I go into other people's videos and I see that Mason's in the comment. I'm immediately like, click that, and I'm like, this is all of Mason's thoughts on it, and it's great. So I also appreciate his comments on other people's videos, because it like gives me, I now know what Mason's thinking for everything. So I really love that. And it's just Mason's sense of humor, it comes across in his videos as well. Mason does a sort of like, it's like a podcast kind of video, and I've always said to him, I just find his voice so relaxing. It's just great. It's just like happy place. Stick that on, listen to it, but I don't do it as much because again I have that need to comment. So if you've not checked out Mason, please go and check him out. He is not only a booktuber, he is also an author, and he is working on various different projects. So he's also talking about writing as well as about what he's reading and just his general thoughts on day to day. He's also a great advocate for people with disabilities because he is blind, so he will give you a blind person's view of stuff, and he's very open about encouraging you to ask him questions. And also sharing the stupidity of the world in their response to how they interact with someone who is blind. And he does it in a way that is highly entertaining, but also really important as well. So you're like, I'm laughing, but I also feel I should be crying when you're telling me this, because this is really not kind. Not Mason on being unkind, but people being unkind to him, because some people are morons. So I appreciate all of that. I said I was going to come back to waffle. So Mason, I'm going to sort of call him Marketing Mason, because sometimes when he comments, he says, oh, you should do this. And he's made phrases that I'm like, I love that. I'm totally going to steal that. So Mason, you won't be able to see this, but I'm going to hold something up to the screen now for everyone else. So that feels, I don't know if the focus is not focusing so well. Pull it back a bit more. I'm doing that hand thing. Doing the hand thing I see the booktubers do, where you put the hand behind the item so that it focuses. But there we go. This was inspired by Mason. Okay, Mason, I'll explain what it is now. It's very mean of me. Anticipation is what I'm going for. I talk about the fact that I waffle, and Mason said we should embrace the waffle, and he says he has this idea of like a little happy waffle wanting a hug. So I've made a little waffle. So it's a picture of a waffle, Mason, and it's got a smiley face. It's got a smiley face with like the curly, the corner cheeks, you know, when you kind of put indents on cheeks to like show it's super smiley. And then it's got little eyes in the center with little eyebrows, and the waffle looks so happy. So that's right at the top of the waffle. Then underneath the waffle, it says embrace the waffle in blue writing, and the waffle has got two big arms out either side. I nearly did it to demonstrate, I'm doing it now, which is completely pointless because Mason cannot see what I'm doing, and everyone who can see what I'm doing can see the actual thing I'm describing. So there was no reason for me to do that. So there we go. I've made it, Mason. So thank you so much for inspiring that. If you want to know what this is, I've laminated it, and it's going to be a counter for when I do my new board for the TBR game that I like to do. So there we go. Thank you very much. Right, moving on now to people who are not booktubers themselves, but give me a lot of feedback on my videos. So one of these people is Sarah Dale. Thank you so much, Sarah, for when you comment on my videos, it always feels really heartfelt, and it always gives me kind of an insight into like what you've particularly enjoyed, what you're reading, and I just appreciate that. So thank you very much. I'm also going to mention someone who I'm not going to name because I don't know if they want me to name them. So I'm going to, retain their privacy. But this is someone who I've interacted with a lot on Discord and is in some of the Discord communities. And they gave me a lovely comment on Discord. And it was about, I'm just going to read it to you. So it's just this one comment, and it's like, from this alone brought me so much joy. And it's what I absolutely believe when I say it's all about the quality of your YouTube community than the quantity of your YouTube community. Booktube community, same thing. And I'm just going to read it to you now. One of the few things that got me through my dark days. One of the few things that got me through my dark days was watching your videos. Thank you. I'm just going to cry now. I'm just going to pause while I cry. I cried earlier when I was writing it down. I thought I'd have got over it. So, as you can tell, that meant a lot. That meant a lot. So, thank you if you're watching this. We're going to reach out to you privately and let you know that really meant a lot and that I've mentioned you in this video. I screenshotted that comment. Like when you know, sometimes at work and they're like, oh, someone's giving you a nice feedback. And they get you to like put it on the system, or you talk about it in your supervision. I was like, this is I used to do this as well, like have happy things and like surround myself with happy things. And this is definitely one of them. So I've screenshotted it and edited and cut it out, and then I rubbed out the name and I sent it to like my friendship group in real life who are on Booktube, and I was like, just want to share this with you, and they were all really supportive and said it was wonderful, and it was, and obviously I shared it with Mum. So yeah, it just it just means a lot. It's like, I'm doing this because it's fun, but to know that what you're doing makes a difference to someone is just beautiful. Oh my goodness. Yes, so also, like I said, a little bit manic at the moment, so possibly a bit sleep deprived, a lot going on at work, feeling that spinning on the plates and they're a bit wobbly, so a little bit more emotional at the moment. Yes, like I said, I could do with sleep and a cup of tea. Right, so yes, thanks guys, appreciate that a lot. Right, I'm just going to quench the tears again. So yes, thank you everybody for all of your support, and those I just wanted to particularly highlight because it means a lot. But I do appreciate every single comment I get on my video, all the likes, all the subscribers. It just means a lot. So thank you, and all the views as well, even if you kind of just watch my stuff. I know there's a certain amount you kind of have to ignore because someone might have just literally clicked on it and gone, that's not for me, and disappeared again. But you know, it still counts as a view, so it still gives you a boost. Maybe you liked the thumbnail, I don't know. Right, okay, let's carry on. Question 7. What's the best book you've read in this past year? Now, usually this would be where I go crazy and have a whole pile of books. I'm not going to do that. So let's start off this part by going, I love reading a range of different things. Fantasy always has my heart. I always say that because it's true, it does. But I do like to read different things as well because you have different moods, you have different parts of your life. I want a variety of things from my books. I want friends. Like, the reason I love having them on my shelves is because I see them and I'm like, oh, there you are. So look, I've got Legendborn here, and I'm like, oh, Bree's waiting for me to come and play again in there. That's great. Or like I get to meet up with Michael again and hear his journey. So like I see them on my shelves and I'm seeing my friends. It's a thing and it's real. And no one's going to make me feel bad about that because it's true. I've gone off on again. What was my point of this? Oh yeah, my book. So yes, so I like lots of different things. I like friends in my books, and I like to hear about different people's stories. I like to know about different different worlds. I obviously like to read things that are exciting and fun and keep me gripped. I like to read things because they're cozy and make me feel good. I like to challenge myself and put myself in like a difficult place and see how other people are in the world. I have a whole range of different things I like. But this book is my favourite book. And I read it in the past year. So I'm going to tell you what that is. It's Fool's Fate by Robin Hobb. This is the best book I read in this past year. It is cheating a bit because what makes this the best book is the fact that before I got to this, I read 9 other books. So this book is the culmination of 9 books. So all of the people that don't like fantasy, they're like, this is why we don't do it. But all of those people who love fantasy are like, yes, this is why we love fantasy. And this is why I love fantasy. Because what I love most about my books, I love setup and payoff. I am not here, people. I'm not here for setup where there is no payoff. George R. R. Martin, looking at you. I'm not here for that because I'm like, what was the point? Like, just gonna play with me and trick me to make a point that, well, sometimes we don't hear the end of people's stories. I know that. It's called life. I don't want to be part of that. So what I love here is that we get to meet Fitz, my boy. We get to meet him as a small child. Then he has the most ridiculously traumatic adolescence known to humankind. And we are there for every step of the journey. There's highs and lows. There's people that we love in there. And we see the people that care for him. We see all the people that parent him. And we see his traumatic childhood and how everything that has happened has shaped who he is. As well as the wonderful world building and like general outer plot. We then go completely somewhere different and we go to Bingtown and we hang out on live ships. And, you know, and we encounter many other things. And maybe there's some characters in there that we weren't expecting. And the world is expanded. We then go to Tawny Man. We then get Fool's Errand, where we see Fitz again. It's been 15 years. It's been 15 years since we were last with Fitz. My baby is all grown up. He's enjoying pottering in his garden, as he should. And it's just lovely. So you get to hang out with him for a bit. You get to catch up with a few people. So you get so excited because all of the people that he's not seen for 15 years pop up. Not all of them, but a few. And it's great. And then there's plot happening. And some of the plot links to the overall world in this, the realm of the Elderlings. So it starts to make sense and there starts to be more things. And there's a few things that kind of connects the Live Ships books to the books where Fitz is the main protagonist. And there's relationships and you see Fitz doing similar things to childhood Fitz did as man Fitz. But then there's some changes. So you've got kind of repeated patterns, but you've also got changes. So this book is also looking at the character arc and how you have developed and grown. And it's looking at parenting. So how Fitz was parented and how things where he did not have a secure childhood. He was abandoned. He did not think people loved him. He felt he had to do stuff. He felt he had to prove stuff. He got used by people. He was able to give someone a childhood. So he's kind of looking at things as a parent in certain situations and reflecting on all the different ways that he is a parent, whether that's biological, whether that's a foster, you know, all those different things and like an impact it has on people. So you've got all of those themes being explored wonderfully. Then you've got this wonderful found family that starts to pull together. You're getting more understanding of the skill and the witch that we were introduced to in the first series. It comes out a lot more. We understand it a lot more. There's a deeper feeling to like how society feels about both of those things and like what happened in the past and where they are now. And it all culminates in Fool's Fate. And as you see, I cry in pieces reading this to the point I could not sleep because I needed to know. I had to skim read half of this because I just could not. I was like, I can't just go, okay, well, I'll find out later. I'm just going to get to sleep now. And then, I'm just going to wake up, get children to school, get myself to work, deal with work life. I can't do that because I'm going, are they okay? What's happening? What does this mean? What's going on? I needed to know. So I skim read it, which does not do Hob justice, I am aware, but I needed to function. Okay, so that's what I did. And then I reread. So I was like, okay, I know where everyone is now. The heart has stopped beating. It's all right. I can breathe. So now I get to read it properly. So I then went back and read the second half of this book properly, the way it was intended. And I got to be in those moments. And I got to be in the moments knowing how it was okay and just really appreciate Hob's writing, the emotional impact, the character arcs, the character relationships. I got to just appreciate all of that. And just when you think you've got it sussed, like, Hob then will do this. And you're like, oh, okay, of course. But that makes total sense. Why did I not know that before? And just the way it all finished, it, like, just in terms of, like, seeing where the characters were at the end of their journey. There's still certain things that I wanted, so it doesn't feel finished to me. But just in terms of certain character arcs, I still wanted more time with them. There's still things in here I was like, yes, but I want more of that relationship, but I want more of that. I want to see that. So I'm hopeful we might get to see those in the third and final part of The Realm of the Eldlings, which I haven't yet read. But that is why this book is my favourite, because of the emotional payoff I got from it. And it's just beautiful. It's just absolutely beautiful. Friendships, soulmates, parental relationships. Love this book. And I can't say any more than that because then that would be spoilers. And I don't want to do that to any one of you. That's why this is my favourite. We're nearly at an hour. So let's do the next question. 8. Yes, 8. Where do you see your channel in a year's time and what do you hope to have achieved? Well, in a year's time, I hope I'm still here doing this semi-regularly. At least a video a week would be nice to be doing. I'd love to do more shorts because that's where I do actually get to play with editing, because I have a program on my phone where if I can put up a minute's content from my phone. So I have an editing program on there and I love playing with that. So I get to add music, I get to do scene changes, I get to throw in pictures and words and all of that. So that's a lot of fun for me. So I do want to be doing more of that, but obviously that's editing, so that is time consuming for me because I want to edit. That's the only chance I get to edit, so I want to play with that. I want to be doing the same staples. Like, I do like, as much as I'm chaotic, I do like a routine. I like TBR, this is what I'm reading, this is what I've been reading, here's my wrap up, this is what I hope to read in the future, this is my plans, these are my projects, these are my goals, am I meeting them? I like that cohesiveness and I want to keep doing that. But in terms of something new, I want to do a readathon. I have been toying with this idea for a long time. I've mentioned it to, it's middle grade based, obviously. Well, not obviously, but it is middle grade based. I've mentioned it to what I call my middle grade gang and my like guardians of middle grade. So that is Vadania, Tallia and Kelli, and they've all been very supportive. So it's all very exciting. So I'm hoping to do a middle grade readathon for 2 weeks in July. So that is what I'd like to do when it comes to this yearly review, maybe. Book birthday celebration, to have done that. We'll see if it happens, because while I'm saying all of this, I'm really hopeful, then something crazy could go wrong in July. Please don't. Please have nothing touching all the wood. One's musical. Hopefully, yeah, it'll happen. Right, stop waffling. Carry on. Finish this out. Right. Yeah, that's what I want to do. 9. Tag, you are it. So, if you are someone who's just stumbled across this video, but you have been on here but if your Booktube birthday is coming up, then you're officially tagged. This is a really fun video to do. I really like how you kind of can be a little bit reflective on it. I like that a lot. So yeah, feel free to do the tag. But I'm gonna mention some names because it's always fun to mention names, and then you have people that you can go and source should you want more booktubers in your life. Links will be in the description box as always. So if I've already mentioned them, no, that's a lie, I've got names written down here. Yeah, anyway, okay, let's just talk. People I'm tagging. I'm going to tag 3 people I've already mentioned. Vadania from Vadania Silverscribe. I feel that you have a birthday coming up soonish, or maybe just past. Vadania is currently doing a huge amount of work in her actual real life. She's a very clever person. I don't know what her job is called or entails, but she's basically doing a lot of important stuff to do with like physics and astronomy. And it all sounds really cool and clever and amazing. And what she's doing just sounds like a lot of work. So she's being sensible. She's doing a lot of work, and I imagine we'll be back on Booktube when she has got that time and break. But so when you're there, Vadania, we'd love to see the birthday Booktube in some form. But go and, if you haven't discovered her, go and look at, she's got videos, go and look at those old videos because they're all great. Also, I feel like Mason has got a Booktube birthday coming up soon. So Mason, you are also tagged. Kelli and Tallia, they're also part of the class of 2022, so their Booktube birthdays will be coming up. I think Tatiana tagged them as well, but I'm going to tag them too. So that's from Bandana Book Mum, and Kelli reads a lot. Other people who are also, I know, around the same time as me is Monti from the channel Monti B. You should absolutely go and check her out. She is a really lovely person, has an amazing parrot called Frank. And if you need lots of space sci-fi books with a little bit of romance in them, she is your girl. So there's lots of fun content from her as well. So yeah, Monti, birthday book tag, feel free to do. Also, I've already mentioned her when I spoke about the live, but Courtney from Tangible Reads. And I just have to say, like, she has absolutely found her vibe, because I actually found her when Vadania had got to 100 subscribers. And she'd commented on the video, like, congratulations, that's amazing, looking forward to when that will happen for me. And I was like, oh, I'm going to go check your video out. And I looked and I was just like, I really love her vibe. She's amazing. She's so much fun. More people need to know her. And so watching her grow has been so much fun. She's started to do lives every Tuesday, sort of reading with her. She's done a readathon. She's doing lots of read-alongs. She's doing some really amazing things where she's kind of like focusing on an author, like particularly like Black authors. So she's done Octavia Butler and Nydia Okorafor. So yeah, give us some suggestions of which ones to do next. She uses the library a lot and kind of gets a lot of books in from there, so she's happy to source all the books. So yeah, anyway, I think Courtney's birthday, Booktube birthday is coming soon, and she gets through tags. She'll just bish bash bosh, done, love it. So yeah, tag Courtney. And oh yeah, Courtney is, I was like, who's Tangible Reads? I've written it next to in my notes, so I'm a moron. And finally, Kemi. I'm not sure when Kemi, oh, that's something I was going to say back about motivation, so we'll come on to that, because I didn't make notes, just doing it, blah blah. Yeah, I was checking a few people. It's like, I have a feeling you've been on here around a year, but I'm not sure. But it doesn't tell you exactly on Booktube. It's just like 11 months ago. So 11 months ago, I know Kemi did the Booktube Newbie tag. So I feel that means that Kemi is up for a Booktube birthday soon. So Kemi, tag, you are it. Kemi is at the channel at Violet Pages. You should definitely go and check her out. Again, she's another really fun, pardon me, person. Who does she gets quite creative and does a few other little things. I think you're kind of on a mystery reading kick at the moment, but Kemi reads a wide range of stuff. But what I wanted to talk about with Kemi was going back to sort of like what motivates you and talking about the Booktube community. So I now consider Kemi as one of my Booktube friends, and we met each other through her commenting on my video and saying how much she loved Sophia Thurker's poetry, because I read that in November. So we had this amazing conversation about how amazing her poetry was in my comments. Then I went and checked her out and then started commenting all over her stuff. So like from finding someone who reads something that you like it's amazing that you can then just be like, find someone and just develop a friendship with them. And I just think that's awesome. And spoiler alert or promotion, both me and Kemi are going to be buddy reading the second poetry collection from Sofia Thurker. We're both really excited for it. Let's go grab it actually. Yeah, this book's easy to find because it lives on my seasonal shelf. So it is Wearing My Mother's Heart, and it is beautiful to start off with, and then it's a little poetry collection, so new poems. I've read a few, I've started, and I've just kind of dipped in because I just wanted to, but we're going to read I think like 10 poems together. Well, we're going to read them and then talk about them. We're going to do buddy read 10 poems at a time, so I'm really excited about that. So there we go, we have finished the Booktube birthday tag, and it's over an hour because of course it is. It's on brand for ridiculous amounts of chatting time. Anyway, if you made it this far, obviously the emoji I'm going to suggest is a birthday cake because it's a birthday tag. So please pop one of those in the comments if you want to make a comment but you don't have time, or because I get it, or if you don't really have anything to say, that's completely fine. Just pop one in there. It's just nice to know that you are here. And just I always find it interesting to know, because my videos are so ridiculously long, who actually gets to the end of them. Oh, one person I didn't talk about, well, I spoke about her a bit, but I totally forgot to mention on people who support your channel, is my mum. My mum is a brilliant supporter of my channel because best mums do that. But one, you know, she loves books, and two, so that's great, but two, because we live so far away, it's like she feels I'm with her. So she tells me when I've been speaking to her, it's like, I feel like I spoke to you really recently, but then I realised that's because I was binge watching some of your content whilst I was eating. So she like puts me on her laptop and often eats my breakfast whilst listening to me. So I just find that really sweet. So then sometimes when I ring her on the phone, because I like to try and talk to her as much as possible, it feels like sometimes, like my brothers, like it can be like 3 months and I won't have spoken to them, but then when we talk to each other, it's great. It's like no time's passed at all. But with my mum, it feels weird if it's like it's been a week and I've not spoken to her. It feels really weird. So yeah, I speak to her quite a lot of time. Anyway, off on it's this. Embrace the waffle. There was a point and it's gone from my head. Oh, that's it. Yeah, I was speaking to her on the phone. She was like, I feel like I've recently chatted to you. No, I did that bit. It's she then talks about a book, or she had a thought about something and then she then talks about it. So her watching my content then inspires a lot of conversations that we then have when we're chatting on the phone and catching up with life in general. This has been far too long. I'm going to stop talking now, but thank you so much, everyone. I'm so delighted to be here on Booktube. I'm having the best time. And a lot of it is just, you know, thanks to you guys for continuing to be involved. So thank you very much. Bye bye. Happy reading.